Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and this is how to use Tornadus. Alright, legendary Pokemon, legendary stats. This is going to be great, because, I mean, look at those sweeping stats. 115 on the attack, 125 on the special attack, and 111 on the speed. Well, that's already really awesome right there. We're outspeeding all 110 base speed Pokemon and lower, while also getting into what I start calling the good speed tier. We can outspeed on so many Pokemon that it kind of doesn't matter, so we're going to have really reliable outspeeds. We are pretty susceptible though. If a fast Pokemon outspeeds us, we are in a kind of frail state. Even though we're legendary, we only have 79 on the base hit points, 70 on defense, and 80 on the special defense. That's one hit KO range, are very, very likely to hit KO range. That we have average defenses is a way of looking at it. So neutral hit is going to be very powerful, super effective hits, going to really threaten us. So we're not invincible as this Pokemon, but we are going to be very powerful. Look at its typing. Wait, am I reading that correctly? Pure flying type? Tornadus is the only pure flying type in the game. What do we do with this knowledge? Well, it's stuff we already know. That we know flying in general is just going to resist what resists, the fighting, grass, and bug. It's also going to be weak to what it's weak to. Rock, electric, and ice. However, there's some cool trivia behind the pure flying type, and that's just going to be that up until the 5th generation, if a flying type Pokemon used Roost, it would have no typing. It would be the question mark typing. However, Game Freak got rid of the question mark typing in the 5th generation, thus allowing a Pokemon like Tornadus to even exist, and if it was to use Roost, just become normal. So all those problems are now taken care of, and that's going to be the pure flying typing. Hopping into Pokemon Showdown, we're going to go into one of my favorite strategies of all time. Now, technically, you can do this with a Whimsicott or any like Prankster Tailwind Pokemon, but I still think that this is a really fun idea. And I wanted to use Tornadus over Thundurus, which is where this idea came from. Thundurus has Prankster, we're talking about in the next video, but Tailwind on Tornadus, it gets this, and then Thundurus doesn't. So you do have a bit of advantage, you can play around with the Tornadus, but what I liked about it is that you just double protect on the first turn if you feel the opponent has Fake Out, might protect as well, and you just go Tailwind into Azelf with Explosion Normal Gym. Boom. Now, Normal Gym did get a nerf in the 6th generation. It used to be 50% more power in the 5th generation. So technically Life Orb works, but in VGC you can use Normal Gym and then keep Life Orb on one of the Pokemon coming in. The idea behind this is that, well, now you have Tailwind set up and you effectively clear the field. If not, the two opponents' Pokemon are going to be substantially weakened and they just bring in whatever two Pokemon you want to close out the game. Back in my day, I would go with a Choice Banded Garchomp and then a Life Orb Zapdos. That way I can just like Earthquake Discharge or Earthquake Heat Wave and they don't affect each other, so I'm going to get tons of damage on the opponent. I'm outspeeding them pretty much guaranteed because of the Tailwind, and I can also do some bulk investment for damage calculations, so it was really crazy. So if the strategy does fail in some way, you have Sludge Wave to just kind of hit all of your opponents. Now it does affect Pokemon on your side, that can be stopped by Protect or whatever, and then you just still have Air Slash, so you might get a Flinch Hacks, you have some Stab, you have little bits of damage. Other than that, you just like run speed and special attack. The idea is you want Tornadus and Azelf to go down on that turn, as well as both of your opponents, and then you just bring in Super Sweep for the game. So that's my fun little strategy, Mental Herb, so you don't get out-taunted by Speed Ties or something that a Whimsicott might pull, but that's really how I like playing this strategy. On that, Tornadus, it's got Taunt, Tailwind, Rain Dance, Hurricane. This isn't a moveset, this is just ideas that you can apply to double battles. With Taunt, very fast Taunt, with that Prankster, you can shut down a lot of strategies. Tailwind, so if you need a Tailwind setup Pokemon, that works out pretty well. Now, one thing you'll see Tornadus do, Hurricane. Gets the Stab Hurricane, also has Rain Dance. With the Rain Dance, that's going to make it to where Hurricane can't miss in rain. So, I mean, you have a good amount of attack right here. That you have a 110 base power move that's actually gaining Stab and has a very high amount of special attack while getting a good amount of speed. With that 111 speed, you're outspeeding a lot of things, and then that 30% chance to confuse your target. Then you just run this with Swift Swim. You run this with some kind of other weather, rain benefiting Pokemon, and you're going to have a good old time. So it's either Tailwind for generic setup, or if you want the Rain Dance for a Swift Swim setup, and then after that, unfortunately, you don't really get access to Thunder or anything like that. That's going to be Thundurus' job. But if you need other moves, you still have some decent options. You have moves like Grass Knot. Grass Knot's actually going to be nice because water Pokemon on your opponent's side of the field are going to benefit from that Rain Dance, and they're also going to most likely resist your water Pokemon. So Grass Knot, that's going to have some super effective damage options if you're not throwing out the Hurricane. You get Psychic, you have Knockoff if you just want to remove items, Heat Wave if you're not running the Rain Dance, so you get to hit both opponents with a Fire-type move. That's going to be the base for Tornadus. As for playing into a single battle, this is where things get interesting because you're going to want to bulk up setup, and Tornadus is actually good at that. Remember, we have Prankster. So bulk up with the Prankster is going to be free. Before your opponent hits you, you're gaining defenses. So if they have a physical Pokemon, might be a good thing to do. You don't take as much damage. And I was thinking about pairing that with a Moringa Berry. So you bulk up, even if you take a special move, as long as it isn't super effective, now you can maybe become a 3-hit KO Pokemon on both physical and special, and that gives you setup time, or just a lot of really cool damage things. Now when Moringa Berry procs, well, that's going to be in Acrobatics, that you're getting stab Acrobatics damage, and while you only have 10 less than your special attack and base power, Acrobatics is still going to be a very powerful option because, well, that's going to turn into a 110 with stab, which is going to be better than like a special attacking air slash by a lot. And then the bulk up, so you're gaining huge amounts of base power with huge amounts of attack into that Moringa Berry, going to be really awesome. If you don't really care about Moringa Berry too much, Citrus Berry, safe option that most likely one hit is going to drop you down into that range. If it's special attack, if it's physical, after you're setting up bulk ups, you know, if they're hitting you with physical attacks, that's 2 bulk ups before Citrus Berry, then you go into Acrobatic shenanigans. Knockoff's going to have that base power boost if they do have an item. Also, you could remove their item, which might threaten you. Get rid of their life orb, their choice item, and now you're just going to be more powerful than them anyways. Then we have Superpower. So Superpower, use it when needed. If you get like 2 bulk ups or an extra free bulk up, it really doesn't cost you anything to use it, but then if you need to like use it to finish off an opponent, that might be pretty good. Good normal coverage, that if you just hit anything super effective with that Superpower, going to be nice, and it also works against rock and steel types, which Acrobatics isn't going to deal with. So just high base power moves with all of your boosting to try to clear out the opponent's side as fast as possible. So that's going to be the idea behind this set of Prankster, and then we can also just like go full defensive investment. What I've also seen is Chesto Resto on this set. So instead of having the extra move like Superpower or Knockoff, get rid of one of those and then you put Rest and then you have the Chesto Berry. And that's just going to make it to where you try to set up as much as possible. Bring Tornadus in as a revenge physical Pokemon and just bulk up in their face. Okay, bulk up. Okay, bulk up. Okay, bulk up. Then you take damage. Oh, by the way, Prankster Rest. Prankster full hit points. That's how it works. So with that said, I was thinking about, well, what if we go for a more tanky approach? It's like super hyper mega tank, make it to where we try not to die at all. So Careful Nature, maxing out special defense, going full on to hit points, and then remember, we're bulking up before they get a chance to attack us, so we're getting a really good defensive boost, and then depending on how it goes, we keep bulking up in their face, we get our free 100% health, then Acrobatics into whatever. I was thinking you could technically get away with Hammer Arm in this case. That Acrobatics Hammer Arm is going to be pretty nice. More super effective hits than Acrobatics Knockoff, as shown by Pokemon DB. So right here we have Flying and Fighting, 366. Then we have Flying and Dark, that's going to be 280. So there's your numbers right there for that. And it's also a good amount of base power. 100 base power on the realm of Earthquake, 90% accuracy, but lowers your speed. Well, speed doesn't matter if we're using our status, and if we're investing tanky, that means we're not investing speed. So there's that. Maybe I'm just trying to justify Hammer Arm too much. It's an option that you might see, so you can also anticipate it, but it's going to cover for the Acrobatics pretty well. As you can see, a few Pokemon are going to resist us. Zapdos, regular Rotom, Thundurus, Aegislash, Thundurus, yeah. It's pretty much not going to be that insane, so maybe bring Pokemon that stop those kinds of Pokemon, but you're going to be good to go. So that's Tornadus. Either bulk up setup or hilarious double gimmicks under that Prankster. So if you guys enjoyed the video, that's how you use Tornadus. I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you for watching.